Hello, and welcome to Recombinant Teaching. I'm your host, Justin Schaefer, and on this show, I'm holding STEM Education Office Hours where I will unpack your questions on STEM pedagogy, student success, academic careers, and everything in between. I've taught about 10,000 students in my 13-year career, and just like you, I've spent countless hours in the trenches working with students, helping them learn how to succeed in college and beyond. Through hosting this show, I hope that we can learn from each other, solve some problems, share some tips and advice, and ultimately improve STEM education together. If you have a question you'd like me to tackle, check out my website or the show notes and click the Submit a Question link. Whether you want to write in, send an audio clip, or join me live, I'd love to have you be a part of the show. With that, let's get started. This is pretty much the first episode. Well, I guess it's really the first episode. It's pretty exciting. I don't know, is it? It's kind of fun to do this. So I'm looking forward to, again, fielding your questions and answering them here and giving tips. So some of these episodes I'll be doing solo like this, and I'll read questions and I'll answer them best I can. Other times we'll have people send in audio clips. We'll listen to that and then I'll respond. And sometimes we'll have live guests, and these will be folks who want to meet to answer their questions and have a conversation. We might even have some special co-hosts from time to time, and then I might do some ranting episodes. You never know what might happen. So, but the point is, these are going to be short, probably 15 minutes or less, max, maybe even 10 minutes or less, just to give, again, a little quick listen, hopefully once a week, and we'll tackle STEM education topics. So with that, let's again get to our first ever question here on the Recombinant Teaching Podcast. And that comes to us from Sarah Stockwell, who's in the Department of Ecology, Behavior, and Evolution at UC San Diego. So I'm going to read Sarah's question here and then answer it. And just so you know, I don't screen these questions ahead of time. I read them live. If someone comes on the show, they're going to ask it to me the first time I've ever heard it. So these are authentic responses. I'm not prepared. I don't know what the question's about. So makes it kind of fun. And this also kind of mimics what we do when I do live workshops with faculty in a Q&A session. People ask questions. I don't know what's coming. I respond to it in the moment. So same thing here with Sarah's question. All right, so here's her question. Sarah says, I teach a writing-focused biology class where a lot of students' learning happens through take-home written assignments. The most recent time I taught it, genAI cheating was rampant, despite a clear course policy prohibiting it. Short of having students do all of their writing during class time on paper, how can I revamp my class so students actually do the writing and the thinking and analysis that goes with it? Well, Sarah, you picked a doozy to start the show off with. This is a super big challenge that we're all facing here in higher education as we deal with genAI and how to handle it. So, you kind of hit a sore spot for me too. Sometimes it depends on the day of the week. I'm okay with genAI and how it's improving our world and society, but most days I'm not. I kind of have a cynical view of it, a Luddite view of it, if you will. And when it comes to AI with writing and teaching, yeah, it's really, really tough, So how to handle this? Let's kind of come up with some ideas. So you have take-home written assignments. Super important for learning, super important for getting deeper thoughts and deeper exploration from the student's perspective, especially in a biology course. So that way students have time to start exploring their ideas, connecting them to different topics, and doing some of that important research, right? That is necessary to tie concepts and ideas together. Now, you said, short of having doing during class. So that could be a solution, all right? So you could have students prepare and do this in class. So you could, old school blue books, right? So I had sometimes when I was in a school back, 20 plus years ago in college and in high school, we'd have those blue books where you bring them out during the class time and start writing. Now, there's a whole host of problems with that too. I think for me, it'd be handwriting. It's hard to read my handwriting. Asking my students when I write for my engineering courses and problem solving, I have to practice it because I'm just so bad at it. But also accommodations and time and just that kind of pressure of having to write, because sometimes we just don't want to write, right? When I wrote my book, there'd be times where I just don't want to write right now. It's not coming out of my brain. So that can be challenging, although it could be a solution to prevent the cheating. So how do you get around it? So I'm going to answer with the idea of mindset. Okay, this is not going to be a true solution in terms of preventing it, but the best I think we can do as instructors now is model a good mindset for how to approach genAI and how to use genAI in the classroom and out of the classroom. So here's what I mean. So if you just tell your students, hey, this tool exists, it's a magic tool. It really is. At the click of a button, it will do your essay for you, your research paper for you. They might take it up on that, right? It's a little devil on your shoulder that will just explore this option and do the work for you. And it's tempting, right? Don't get me wrong, it's tempting. But if you say you can't use it, that also might encourage them to use it more for some reason, right? I think of myself as a parent. I got 2 kids, and when I tell them, no, you absolutely can't do this, it kind of perks their ears up. Like, what do you mean I can't do it? Now I want to try it. So it's that prohibition idea coupled with the mindset of how to use it that I think could lead to some success. So instead of prohibiting it, maybe you want to explore, again, modeling how to use it with them. So, for example, when I do this for my anatomy and physiology class I'm teaching right now, and I showed them early in the semester, I brought up one of the AI tools, I think it was Gemini, and I said, okay, here's how you as students can use this productively. If you copy your homework question and paste it in here, will it answer it for you? Yes. I do take-home assignments as well in that class there, where they have to do a written report basically on should I or shouldn't I do something related to my health, tying in their A and P. And they could easily, again, I showed them, like, yeah, you could copy the prompt, put it into genAI and say, hey, I want you to write about this topic, and it will do it. However, that's not productive for them. It's not productive for you. And it's just taking shortcuts. So instead, what I showed them was, okay, here, tell it what you want it to act like. So here you go. So Gemini or ChatGPT, whatever one, say, I want you to be basically like a tutor for me for my anatomy and physiology course. This is a 1 semester A&P course. We use the OpenStax book. We cover most of the body systems. We have weekly homework assignments. Here's even the syllabus, right? And it will say, cool, thanks for all this information. What do you want me to do? And then you tell it, okay, hey, I got these homework problems, but I don't want you to give me the answer if I ask you about them. Rather, I want you to kind of ask me questions, kind of like Socratic method, go back and forth. And we'll say, okay, cool. I'm just going to hang out here until you're ready. And then what I did was I copied one of the problems and I put it in there. And I showed them what it said. It said, the example was with tissues of the body. So I put in a question about, properties of epithelial tissue. And it said, hey, that's a great question. What do you know about the properties of epithelial tissue? And then you could go back and forth with it. And you can say, hey, I'm really stuck on the different types of stratified versus squamous. Can you help me? And it will say, sure. Well, here's a summary of the different types. Did this help? So it's not like giving you the answer, but it's helping guide you as a tutor would like I would in office hours, right? So that's one thing you can try. When it comes to the writing, now again, modeling mindset and behavior. So again, you can give it the prompt. It will spit it out for you. But instead, maybe say, okay, here's the prompt for my essay or my report or whatever my take-home assignment is. I'm going to work on this myself, but I might ask you for ideas or brainstorming. But I don't want you to change my writing. I don't want you to write it for me. I don't want you to take the shortcut for me. And it will say, great, I won't do that. But whenever you're ready, give me your ideas and I'll help work with you as like a writing consultant would. So again, if you kind of model the behavior with your students, with giving them the mindset, this is actually like a really powerful tool to help you develop the ideas and that organic material between your ears more effectively, they might do that. So do that during class. Spend some time in class to model that approach, whether it's homework for take-home exams, take-home reports, anything like that. Now, are there going to be students that still just take that shortcut and listen to that devil on their shoulder? Probably. And, my other piece of advice here always with AI, one is mindset, the other one's karma. It's going to come back and bite you at some point. So if you're as a student want to take a shortcut, it's going to come back and get you. Even same thing with before AI, when you could just go to Chegg and get your homework answers or Google your homework answers, right? Same thing, karma. So mindset and karma is kind of my short answer for AI and how to deal with it. I hope it gave you some tips there that could be helpful for you. Please let me know. I'd love to hear back from you, Sarah, what you think about this idea, and if you find it helpful or not. And everyone else listening too, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So please let us know if you have some ideas on Gen AI and how you're dealing with it, because again, this is affecting all of us. It's not going anywhere, and it's only going to get worse probably before it gets better. All right, so that was it. That was our inaugural episode. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I gave you some good tips. So that's it for this episode of Recombinant Teaching. And if you want to be a part of the show and ask a question, please check the show notes for the link. And please also check out my website if you'd like to learn how I can work with you, your department, or your institution to improve STEM education. Thanks for listening and happy teaching.